This is a kind of thrift shop of soccer, Major League Soccer, and they have had their stars come in there, but usually when they're has-beens. This is not the case with Messi, although I don't know, is Messi far from his prime at 35 years old?
People thought he was until the World Cup, and then they realized he's not.
But didn't they fix the World Cup? Wasn't the World Cup rigged so that Messi would win it?
He had a lot of PKs, yes.
Oh, come on. I mean, the guy would look at Messi cross-eyed. Penalty kick. All right, put him on the stripe. And it wasn't like he was booming these penalty kicks either. I mean, Messi's approach on the penalty kicks is great. He really does go by the old Brooklyn thing, right? Your mama.
I was going to say, it's like your dream.
And then dribbles one through the middle, not even like one side or the other. Look, I don't know much about the game in terms of what kind of skill it takes. The way he maneuvers through six guys, that the problem with the game is it usually ends up in a whole pile of shit. Nothing. He makes all these moves, and he's exhausted, and he's running, he's schwitzing, and, people are yelling and screaming. And then at the end of dribbling through six guys, the ball goes out of bounds, and the goalie picks it up and throws it to midfield. That's it.
The time. Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
Very pleasant good morning, everybody, on this fine Thursday. Good to have you with us for this edition of the Defo Show, a Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge edition of the program. We will be joined by the great Dave Gurggles Gergely, who will conduct the challenge again today. We'll try to crown a champion. Well, we will crown a champion. Somehow we'll do it, even if the game, doesn't go so well. Well, we'll find somebody who can emerge as a title holder here, a belt holder. It'll be Jose Suleiman time. We'll get on the WBC Intercontinental belt no matter what happens in the game. And you can dial us up if you want to play. You just have this number sort of indelibly etched in your memory bank, 954-417-0070. Now, we did draw some new blood last week on the show. That was very promising for the progress of the program. Because, we love all of these guys that play all the time. They're fantastic. Lenny the Chronic, a classic. And it's good. If you want to be the best, don't you have to beat the best, Lubie?
Yes.
Did you say, how are you, by the way, my friend? You okay? The dog all right? Everything shaping up well in your world?
Everything's fine. Just the rain does limit how much action the dog can get outside. So
okay. All right.
I will see what that does.
Usually leads to a big pile of shit in the house somewhere,
Yeah.
especially with a young dog.
Yes.
Who still feels there's an element of entitlement there that hey, Pops, you ain't going to let me outside? I'll tell you what, I'll do it right here.
I took him out. He just didn't want to be out there very long.
Dogs are playing us anyway. You know that, Lubie.
Oh, yeah.
They're absolutely playing us. They know exactly what's going on. They know what you're going to do. They know how you're going to react. And they just do things to, kind of spark, some kind of trigger, some kind of emotion in you. And hopefully, you react well to it. And you realize it's all a con game. Speaking of which, I have to touch on this because it was kind of weird yesterday. A mixed bag on the political landscape. Well, would you agree? Mitch McConnell freezes up. That didn't look good, did it? Where he's saying, I got to back my right-wing brothers, but I'm really not sure where we stand on. And then all of a sudden, he just froze.
Yeah, for like minutes.
Did it hit him? The lie stick finally hit him, Mitch?
I don't think.
How does he get elected all the time? Where is he? Kentucky, Mitch McConnell?
Yeah, it's Kentucky. They just.
What kind of pot-growing hillbillies are voting this guy in year after year after year? Amazing. So you had the Mitch thing, and that was kind of strange to look at, where a guy just freezes and can't speak, and then he comes back about 30 seconds later, and of course he has to, toss it off as if it was Joe Biden's fault that all of a sudden he was having problems. And of course, this Kevin McCarthy guy, he immediately, it was all Biden. It's a Democratic plot. Yeah. Okay. That guy's a tool, huh? You thought Nancy Pelosi was, an oddball figure to be a speaker. This guy really takes the cake. He is just an absolute buffoon. He looks like Kevin Spacey leaving court trying to explain how 40 guys have accused him of sexual assault, and none of it has any credibility whatsoever, even though he gets off all the time. Spacey must have the best team of attorneys. Donald Trump ought to look into Kevin Spacey's legal team and try to figure out if he can beat some of these raps. And then after that, you had the Hunter Biden thing, right, where he goes to court. Now, I do know this, unfortunately, from experience, having been told this, although it actually worked in my favor in my one brush with the law there with the feds. Which, if you think about it, how ridiculous. Can you imagine? They probably would have put Jack Smith on this case. Feds love celebrity. That's one of the
Yes.
things. And
Yes.
I know this. I believe this to be true. That if I didn't have some small measure of local celebrity at the time, that there would have been nothing made of what transpired there. If I was Joe the plumber, it wouldn't have mattered. But it did seem, and you could see this afterwards, where they're having press conferences on the courthouse steps, saying, "Well, it was agreed that the forest guy." I'm like, what the heck? That can't be the biggest case that you guys have to resolve here. And now that you have, I mean, let it go. All right, enough is enough already, right? We don't need to call a news conference about this, do we? But they tell you everything, and then do something else. But I did learn that a plea deal, which I mean, it can be advantageous even if you don't feel comfortable with it. It can be advantageous because the consequences, where 95% of people are convicted in federal court, the consequences of losing in that spot are enormous compared to what they're telling you. Hey, okay, here's how it's going to go. You're going to do 5 days of house arrest, and then you're going to clean up some garbage on the highway, and then that's going to be it. We'll expunge the records. Nobody will ever know any of this happened. And think, well, then why are we going through all this to begin with? It seems like much ado about nothing.
For an attorney, you still have to come up with like 20 to 30 grand for even if you get off, you're still coming out of pocket.
Oh no, you're getting hosed.
20 to 30 grand for a lot of the time, something you didn't do. They just have to.
It's all about money. Yeah, no, it really is.
A lot of garbage. It was a thing that
court costs, all of this stuff that you're obligated to pay.
Yes,
I mean, it's insane, right? Probation, you got to pay a guy just to come by and say everything okay here. Yeah, okay. See you next month. But the one thing that I knew was that, and they tell you this going in, that the judges do not have to honor a plea deal. They don't have to accept it. Even if the feds are recommending, hey, this is like already, a high-end punishment for whatever this guy did.
Federal, it's funny. This is all the stuff my brother was recently going through.
Oh, that's right. Hey, whatever happened with that?
Yeah, they fucked him.
Yet to be resolved?
No, it's finally resolved, and he got fucked.
Oh, yeah? Oh, no.
We'll leave it at that. Yeah, because we know the term plea deal, but plea deal has nothing to do with federal. Federal, they actually don't do plea deals. They do. It has some fucking other weird name. And that's the thing that it falls under. And you guys can agree on something. You can sign something, but it actually doesn't. It's not the final say. The judge can do whatever the fuck the judge wants.
The judge can just say, hey, you know what? I think this is bullshit, and do whatever they want.
Either way, they can make it more egregious and they can make it more light, which is like, oh, that's good to know.
It happens, yeah. So you're going in there just hoping, okay, let's hope this judge does the right thing. Now, the thought process is, if judges were constantly going against plea deals and you were getting screwed, and the details of what ended up happening in terms of sentencing had nothing to do with what you had agreed to, well, then nobody would ever agree to these plea deals, and there would be like 8 zillion cases backed up in court. So you may outlive the statute of limitations, at that point. But anyway, so they tossed this Hunter Biden thing out. I don't know what the end result is going to be. And the Republicans were all celebrating because, they obviously think this reflects very poorly on Uncle Joe.
It has nothing to do with Biden. Like, first of all, this was well before he was president. Like that, they're trying to connect something that is not comparable to the things that the Dems have done to, and the Dems haven't actually done anything to them. The Dems have tried to stay away from all of it, but the Trumps can't get out of their own way. And all of their shit happened in the presidency, and they all had definitive jobs directly connected to the president. Like, they're not similar. And then the Hunter Biden stuff is years ago, and there's no connection to Joe Biden. They've investigated everything known to man. Hunter Biden sucks. Investigate him. Put him away. I don't give a shit what you do with Hunter Biden. But
does seem like a bit of a bad apple.
You've investigated every angle connected to Joe Biden. Sometimes sons take advantage of their father's positions without their father being involved. I mean, that sort of.
And that many times, offspring, children have nothing to do with, the values that were passed down from their parents.
Well, and also
completely against, everything that they stand for.
Joe's been in political office for this long, and he's had multiple children. The son that's a fuck up is the one he's going to ruin his reputation for. Like, come on. Like, sometimes you're allowed to use logic. The reason the Dems are so hard on Trump is Trump has always been a scumbag. Like, there's no comparison to Trump and Joe Biden. Joe Biden's the one riding the train, feeding the children. Like, Trump is literally for the last
Yeah.
70 years been a piece of garbage.
Well, and if Eric Trump was doing similar things, which he probably was, I mean, I don't know. I would imagine that none of the people that are screaming about how unfair this deal was for Hunter Biden, and it may have been like an outrageously simple slap
I'm
on
sure
the
it
wrist
was.
whitewashing of 5-year criminal investigation. That's fine. If you want to say that, and you don't have any evidence of it other than your own opinion, that's still, I mean, it's fair, right? It looks pretty simple, right? The rich get rich, and they often get off in these spots. But I would imagine, and any of these representatives that are screaming about Hunter Biden would want to have their own tax history
Exactly.
examined in this kind of detail, would they?
Melania just made like $160 million, and no one knows what she did.
Nothing. Where is she? She has disappeared.
That's the thing. No one ever sees
Martha
it.
Mitchell is easier to find than Melania at this point. No? I mean, they just spirited her away. She was about to blab about something, and then all of a sudden she disappeared. All right, so you had the Hunter Biden circus going on in court. Everybody was up in arms about that. And then it comes to light. I don't know if this is true. I don't have, any Schefter-type evidence of this, but somebody in the DeSantis camp was saying that, but what does he do now? That he like stamps all of his responses with a swastika or something? Or something along those lines, some neo-Nazi connection to Ron DeSantis, which why March shot does it come as no surprise. So all that was going on, and this was on a day that I would consider sort of a light day on the sports landscape. You did have the opening of Dolphins training camp. You have all of this stuff going on. Man, whoever the mathematician is for the Jets when it comes to the salary cap, this guy has been working overtime, is he not? This guy has just been making calculations and all kinds of adjustments. They adjust Aaron Rodgers' deal, and supposedly, why would Rodgers want to leave $35 million on the so-called table when he already had that lined up? Now, is it because he wants to be a champion? He wants to be fair to the Jets?
To give money so they can go get Dalvin Cook. He really wants Dalvin Cook.
Didn't Cook sign with the Bills?
Did he sign? I didn't.
I believe he became a Buffalo Bill. No.
What, yesterday? I don't know.
I want to say yes to that. I want to say that I saw somewhere that Dalvin Cook signed with the Bills.
I know he was interested in joining the Bills because his brother James Cook from Georgia's there.
Okay, well, it's brotherly love now, I think, on Buffalo.
I don't know if he signed or not. My Twitter was fucking hacked yesterday, right in the middle of Twitter sucking. So that's where I get really all my news.
Really? Well, that's comfortable to know. I mean, that you're just spewing out nothing but facts here that have been well researched because you're getting all of your news off Twitter. Maybe I don't know. Is it a reliable source? I'm not a Twitter guy. I mean, I am never on Twitter except if somebody sends me a screenshot of some tweet.
I'm talking about real sources, like actual reporters and stuff. Their accounts on Twitter. It's easier for me to find it in one place.
Okay, all right, makes sense.
Not just listening to Joe John.
Manny from Miramar says that Cook's a Dolphin. In fact, he saw him at training camp, and here's a picture. No, I believe he signed with the Bills. I'm going to say yes to that. But what were you going to say about that anyway, Lubie? Or do you remember where you were going with that?
I don't see him signed. I don't think he signed. He was interested in joining the Bills because his brother's there. But the Jets, Rodgers is supposed to leave money on the table so that they can go and sign Dalvin Cook. That was I saw.
Is that right? Okay.
As recently as yesterday. I haven't seen anything happen, but that's the most recent thing I saw.
See, now you haven't seen it all, which is amazing because the New York Post would have been all over that in their sports section. But you had that, and then this game. I'm sorry, people. I said it yesterday. I don't mean to dwell on this, and you're probably getting sick of it. And especially you soccer fans that are listening to this diatribe day after day after day, this such absolute condemnation of a game. But this game is like mind-numbing in terms of how dumb it is. Soccer. I got home last night from a little walk of life. I had to have a late post time on that. Get home about 9:30. I figure I hear Sarni's voice in my head saying, "You should watch this game, Defo. You should watch it. You're missing out something great." And I'm watching the U.S. women. Now, I had a mind bet on the game, a little mind bet working yesterday, Lubie. And I started to really regret that I didn't go ahead and place a wager on this. I was going to take the over, believe it or not, so I would have lost that on 2.5 goals. You couldn't expect. I mean, these are two of your better teams, I guess, going after each other. It was one thing for the U.S. to go against Vietnam and their 6.5 goal favorites. But going against the Netherlands, they had some history with the Netherlands, Lubie. You'll be surprised to know that I know this.
I'm curious how you know.
Well, I'm doing my best. See, I'm not one of those people that's going to say, all right, I'm going to completely shut this out because I know that it's stupid. I keep trying to embrace it.
You're watching more than me.
I'm watching it right now. I have Australia and Nigeria on.
I didn't watch 1 second of it yesterday. I saw that they were down 1-0, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Which is usually an insurmountable lead, the 1-0 lead, which is another reason that soccer is a dumbass, fucking stupid sport. You could talk all you want about, well, there's no scoring in hockey. At least there wasn't until recently. And yet a 1-0 lead was not insurmountable. I mean, where you're going, oh, that's it. It's over. Here comes Roger Nielsen with the center ice trap. Nobody's going to get beyond midfield.
Mid ice.
And you take a few things away. Here are the positives, man. Obviously, these women that are playing, or if it's the men's game, but in this case, the Women's World Cup, they're out there working hard. There's no doubt. Mm-hmm. They are athletic. There's no doubt.
Yes.
They have speed, they have skill, they have stamina, they have coordination, they have all of that. And why would you apply it to a shit fucking game?
Well, it's why.
This is Matt Damon in Good Will Hunting, is it not? Where the man's a genius and yet he's, picking up rocks for a living.
It's the professor's reasoning as to why America doesn't do as well in soccer, because our best athletes play like 3 other sports. Like they play
who would play this sport except somebody that was impaired in some way? No,
like you get our like 5th or 6th best version of athletes, so that's why we don't just run. Like LeBron isn't playing soccer, Jaylen Brown isn't playing soccer, like James Harden wasn't playing soccer, Dwight Howard wasn't playing soccer. Like our greatest athletes, Jordan wasn't playing soccer, Magic wasn't. Like our best athletes of all time are not playing soccer. So
why would they?
Exactly.
Why would you want to dedicate your life? Once again, it's myth of the Sisyphus, Lubie. You work, and nothing happens. I remember a long time ago, I just moved to California with a friend of mine named Jeff also, and we were broke. We had spent all of our money getting out there. We didn't have a whole lot of money to get out there with to begin with. These were in the days where gas was like 30 cents, and you could have a couple of $100 in your pocket and actually make it last for a while. So I remember, I think we were paying $120 a month for the place that we were living in, and it was not exactly the Taj Mahal, but it wasn't horrible. We were happy with it, having come from a college environment where we were living in a dorm room or some apartment with 16 other guys. So it was much easier to navigate your way through life. But we ran out of cash. We hadn't really been looking all that hard for jobs. We were sort of on the outskirts of L.A. in a place called Tujunga, California, which was up there in the foothills. And it was nice because we thought, wow, we're nature boys and this is great. But you're completely out of touch with society when you're there. So we didn't have any money to, or any food really to eat. It wasn't like we were going to perish or anything, but we were getting to the point where we had to go take like a day job, a labor job, just to make some money so that we could buy some groceries that night. And we ended up, we got assigned to this junkyard where this guy was a very nice guy to work for. And he wasn't driving us that hard, but we were essentially like moving like car parts, giant boulders. I mean, really just, work that you're thinking, what is the point of this? Because once we move this shit after 8 hours of breaking our back, you look around and it looks exactly the same, the yard. And, I was never in my lifetime, and I've done a lot of different jobs, I was never more tired or worn out from a day of work than I was from this. Never.
It's gotta be exhausting.
And it wasn't like I was a fat old slob like I am now. I mean, I was a young guy in shape, ready to go 12 at De La Hoya. And I'm thinking, that's a shame. We did all this work. And to tell you the truth, I don't even want to. The guy said, you guys want to come back tomorrow and do some more? We said, no, just give us the $8 that we earn here. And we'll go buy some ragu and some Italian bread. And we're going to eat tonight, which is what we did, by the way. Ralph's Supermarket. Food was a bargain back then by comparison to today, Louis. What was it? I had four items at Publix yesterday, and it cost me $50.
Oh, Jesus.
4 items. Unbelievable. Does your dog eat cold cuts? Because whatever it is, don't let him get hooked on boar's head.
I don't give the dog real people food. You
Oh, all
guys,
right.
yeah, you guys. That's the one thing I don't. I don't like giving animals real people food. We give him mangoes once in a while because he likes mangoes, and I have an abundance of mangoes. But other than that, he gets his dry food, and that's it. He's like a horse. Like I would go broke. Are you kidding me? If I started giving him real people food, he's fucking always hungry. I don't know how you guys. Yeah, there's no way. And you guys give him the good stuff. Like,
No, no, the food we feed the dogs is fairly
packaged.
expensive to begin with. And you put it in a bowl and they look at you like, what? Want us to eat this garbage? Where's the boar's head roast beef?
Exactly.
But the point being that, it was futile. All of this work, all of this hard work, couldn't have worked any harder in my life. Schwitzing, I mean, it was 100 degrees outside. It was in Los Angeles or the outskirts. And I never been so worn out, ever. And I'm looking at it going, well, why bother? And that's exactly, I think, where soccer leaves you if you're playing this game. There were 2 shots on goal in the first half of this game, and I guess they both resulted in goals. So the goalies have 0 saves. I was going to bet though on Lindsey Horan to score the first U.S. goal.
Okay.
But I was looking at that. I don't know why. And she had scored in the previous game against Vietnam, and I thought, well, this girl's kind of in the center of everything. Okay. Especially on those corner kicks, right? And has a giant head, like a Joe Rose, Jason Cole size head, a real coconut man on this woman. And that would be an asset. Is that the first thing you would look at if you were a coach? How big is your head? Don't start doing extrapolations on that, Lubie, about, putting a verb in there.
I got it. Yes, I got it.
Can't we just talk about sports in a nice, clean,
I didn't go anywhere.
Sexual double entendre fashion? Come on. If you're talking about soccer, though, it would certainly spark up the conversation. That's for sure. Anyway, she scored the only goal in the 1-1 tie. And then I looked back at what I was looking at as a prop bet, and it was to score the first goal of the match. You were getting 6.5 to 1. So I would have lost that because the Netherlands scored on their only shot on goal. The U.S. goalie, I believe, is yet to make a save in 2 games. And yet has a shutout. She's averaging giving up half a goal a game. That tells you all you need to know. She's made no saves, 0.0, no saves. Got scored on the only shot by the Netherlands last night. Mm-hmm. And, I think stopped one shot in the first game against Vietnam, who had 1 shot on goal. No, they had no shots on goal.
They had no shots. That was the whole thing.
How can you play 2 games in goal in a giant fucking goal and not have a single save? Does that tell you how lame this game is? I mean, who designed this game?
I mean, the men's is a little bit more active, but it's not that much more.
It's ridiculous. There was almost a fight, though. Haran and Van de Donk of the Netherlands. Aren't the Dutch like peaceful people? They don't get in fights, right? There was a little shoving match going on there. That was great. You didn't watch any of this, huh, Louis?
No, I didn't watch a second of it.
All right. I'm proud of you.
I give you credit. I can't get into this at all. In the past, I used to feign interest in the Women's World Cup. This year, I don't know any of it because they retired a lot of the old players. Like I know Rodman's daughter
is extremely gifted athlete. Yeah,
but
she's good. I mean, she made a couple of moves, but again, resulting only in, as we say, a pile of shit.
Exactly.
Where she, just looks amazing, flashing speed and athleticism. Rolls through about 3 of these Dutch girls who, were compromised badly by the fact that they were all wearing wooden shoes. That joke's old, huh?
That's what Andy said yesterday.
The fucking wooden shoes, right? It's just like the Iranians have the iron sheik shoes.
They have to wear the thing.
The little fez, right? The Moroccans. Are the Iranians in this thing? I don't know. Every country has a team. Anyway, so to sum it up, it's a giant waste of time, people. Do yourselves a favor. Stop kidding yourself. You're not interested in it. It really is a stupid game. You could watch it over and over and over again, and even with the most wide open of mindsets where you're thinking, I'm going to do my best to appreciate what these people are doing. And then beyond that, too, I mean, the other thing about it that's really atrocious is, and why you would encourage kids to play this game. Remember when it was, I'd rather have my children play soccer than football. Okay. I'd rather do a lot of things than play football, where concussions are happening to 8-year-olds. But it's worse, right? I mean, I don't think there was this much headbutting going on in the Holyfield Hasim the Rock Rockman fight.
And that
Remember
guy's
when
head
Rockman grew a second head?
was like this.
He had a second head. You're looking and going, wait a minute, man. I mean, if you're going to the body, that's one thing, but which way do you aim if you're going for the head? The guy's got two heads. And Holyfield, just like a woodpecker, just kept
Yeah,
hammering him with his head. It was like a 50-year-old Evander Holyfield. He was pretty much finished. And Hasim the Rock Rockman had his one bright moment in the sun when he knocked out Lennox Lewis in South Africa when Lewis wasn't exactly, you would have to say,
Shape,
focused for the fight.
Nah, he was not in shape at all.
Came back and subsequently annihilated Rockman,
Shit
and Hasim disappeared from the limelight until he surfaced like 20 years later and fought Evander Holyfield, and that was the fight where he grew the second head. Speaking of which, on the boxing scene, we will have some analysis on the Spence Crawford fight.
Nice.
A gentleman named Peter Kahn. He is a longtime boxing manager. Has a prospect now that everybody's real hot on. I guess he's fairly well established, named Xander Zayas, that he manages. South Florida based and in the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame. Was named Manager of the Year. I'm not sure if that was in all of boxing or just in Florida, but Manager of the Year last year. Peter Kahn. He's going to join us. Very knowledgeable guy on boxing.
So the fight's this Saturday.
Saturday, yeah. He's going to join us tomorrow. On
cool.
the Degenerate Friday. I don't know which way to go on that. I really don't. I am leaning towards putting my my investment behind Errol Spence Jr., but it's almost impossible to discount Crawford in this thing. And most of the people I've talked to like Crawford, including Brad Jacobs, who was on with us.
Yeah. Yep.
Who would have, as we said, I mean, if it was just business, he would have a lot of reasons not to really embrace Crawford, who had said that his organization that he's the CEO of now in behind Bob Arum, Brad Jacobs, CEO of Top Rank Boxing. And Crawford was a top ranked fighter for years and years and years. And they got into an ugly, ugly spat as they finally parted ways. And Crawford, I don't think, has any promotional interest behind him now. And Spence fights for Premier Boxing Champions, which is, an organization that kind of took over the sport, you would say, although Top Rank's still prominent. And, you still see Oscar at some fights and Richard Schaefer and some of these other guys. But Premier Boxing Champions essentially put a new business model together and bought like a ton of television time until they established enough credibility where I believe people are now paying them for their fights. But hey, I don't know. I mean, you probably haven't seen enough of either guy. They fought some similar opposition while they were fighting each other, and had similar results. So there's not much to take away from the past performance chart. Spence, of course, I mean, the one negative is he's been through a lot, including a car crash, which you don't know how much debilitation that would actually place on somebody where, you're in a big time physical sport. I don't know. What are the residual impacts, impactful things about that car crash? He's fought since. I don't know that he looked any different. I think he's faster than Crawford. I don't know that he's more powerful, but Crawford is the guy that comes across as a guy that could score a knockout there. So now which way do you go, Lubie? I think you're getting a price too with Crawford.
I'm thinking Crawford, but it's only slight because I don't know either fighter that well. I know their legacies, their histories, like you've heard from people, but I haven't watched them fight that often because, again, like you said, they're fighting stiff. So, like, I don't give a shit.
No, Spence is not the guy that's accused of fighting stiffs. It's interesting because Crawford was, but when you look at their last 10 fights, probably 4 or 5 common opponents in those last 10 fights. And these were guys with good reputations. These was guys, that they had a reputation, Lubie. Where, they fought like Sean Porter. They both fought Showtime Sean Porter. And they both fought Kell Brook, who I think it was, Spence was the guy that kind of put Brook into a different mode as a boxer because he broke his orbital socket or something. And then the guy wasn't the same by the time he fought Crawford. Oh, Gurggles is ready to go. Good. Why am I babbling about this fight? That's kind of crazy. I was going to get into a whole bunch of stuff about training camp, but we'll put that aside here for a while because we want to have the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. And let's welcome to the show the king of Saratoga and all racetracks around the world, the great Dave Gurggles Gergely. Gurggles, how are you, my friend?
Doing fine, doing fine. I heard with great interest about the boxing manager you're going to have on, Peter Khan. Imagine that, a boxing manager named Khan. Who would have thought of that?
This guy
Jeez.
seems highly reputable, though. Unlike my
Well,
good
good.
friend from many years ago, Benny Giorgino, who left the two fighters that I knew that he was managing, pretty much high and dry. It was amazing how much money he made compared to them, even though he never took a punch. But
And the
no,
best thing
this guy's good.
about last night's ladies soccer game is
Did
that
you watch it?
I had a chance to. I had the remote in my hand. I was able to flick the channels between that and the Cincinnati Kid, so I saw most of the movie. Needless to say, yeah. Jack
There's
of
not much
Diamonds
happening
that,
there.
that killed Steve McQueen. But
What's your thought on the thing?
Aren't they teammates? The girl Haran
Yes.
and that got into the little because afterwards they were hugging.
Right.
But she's one big girl. She looks like she could be a linebacker for the Dolphins.
And I was going to make a little wager. I was going to put like $20 on her to score the first goal. But the Dutch, they scored a goal first. So I guess that discounts that because they only really had American players listed as a possibility to get the first goal in the match. And so, here I am knowing nothing about it. And yet I've made some of my greatest calls based on soccer, including when we told Phil Shane on the air that the World Cup, going back 2 World Cups ago, was going to be started with an own goal by Brazil. And he laughed in our face.
Wow.
And sure enough, we said it was going to be by Neymar, but it wasn't Neymar. But nonetheless, there was an own goal by Brazil to start the scoring and kick off another meaningless World Cup. Amazing. Now, is the interest there in Miami Lakes? I mean, they play soccer in your neighborhood.
Yeah, Miami Lakes is big at the junior high right there on 67th Avenue. Big event. Matter of fact, years ago, someone approached us about across the street from our main course using the old par 3 for foot golf, and they play it with soccer balls. Wow. And they play with soccer balls, a big hole, everything like that. Didn't go over too well as far as that goes. But we're busy out here. Probably another couple of weeks or so, I'll be in a different location as we start construction of the brand new clubhouse and driving range and everything else. I'll be here next week, and then the following week I will be at the spa, so to speak, up in Saratoga.
Wow.
Yep.
That'd be great if you could join us from there. That'd be awesome. Right from Ciros, right?
Well, actually, I won't be there till Friday, but I'm flying out Wednesday, and I'll be playing golf in Allentown Thursday, going to Saratoga on that Friday. But I hope to see Miramani and say hello to him and ask him, does he owe you any money or no? You're good with him.
No. Miramani was always good with me. I mean, there were some people that might have, wondered and questioned how he's still alive. But no, he's doing great. Sounds good there at Saratoga, Miramani, and he's doing just fine. I would imagine he's having a ball because that would be. I mean, is that not the pinnacle of all announcing jobs for race callers?
Yeah, and he's doing a great job. I heard a little bit of it yesterday. As a matter of fact, I was alive with the early pick 5 with a even money shot and a 15-1 shot. And needless to say, the 15-1 shot had a 4-length lead in the stretch. Got caught at the wire by the even money shot.
Oh yeah, so you hit it. All right.
I hit it, but I mean it was 3 and change, but the other way it was 18.
Woo!
18, so that one hurt a little bit. But Miramani's doing a great job. And I don't know if you watch any of the preview shows on Naira with talking horses, but the big heavyset guy, Anthony Stabile, is out. He was on with
what happened
with the other. Well, apparently he was working with a female trainer and getting horses for her, and James Chapman was stalking this lady, and he went after the guy, and he went from being the talking horses guy and sometime race caller for Naira. Now he's picking horses at Yonkers, I think. So it's a little step down for him, but yeah. But I'm looking forward to the
he was well liked, though. I mean, he was one of those guys that
he was.
Handicappers.
I don't know what happened. I read the story on it. Yeah, it's a rather unique story. And one other little quick note.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, last week I went to Landlubber. Not unfortunately, I had the great food they have there. But I joined the Chronics, and unfortunately, even with me there, they won. So that's disappointing to me. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure they'll be involved in the game today, the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. You can dial us up. We're going to get it going here in just a few minutes. 954 417-0070, 954-417-0070. Dave's got all the questions, and hopefully you guys have the right answers. We'll give away a Landlubber's gift certificate. Lubie has that thing going, and Lubie, once again, with, I would imagine, the Chronics trying to defend one of many championships they've won there, will be at Landlubbers tonight, and that is Pine Island and Sunrise, right? Did I get that right finally, after like 100 years of saying it?
Yes.
Pine Island and Sunrise.
Yes.
Is that considered plantation or sunrise?
It's
what is that?
plantation bordering Sunrise. They
Okay.
intersect each other.
As we look at it here from the beach, it's out fucking west. All right, but it's good. I mean, it's a great place to go, and you win that gift certificate. It buys you a lot of food there because prices, wow. I mean, it's almost throwback variety, is it not, Gurggles?
The food is terrific. I recommend. I'm trying to eat a little healthy, get my knee in a little bit better shape. I had the blackened salmon teriyaki over rice bowl with asparagus or with broccoli or anything. Really, really good. Peel and eat shrimp. Everything they got there is really great. I mean, the food is worth it. And tonight, I think for all you regular people, it's their cheeseburger special.
Yes.
Great cheeseburgers and fries. And really good. And last week, I think I could finally contribute because I knew who lived at 1313 Mockingbird Lane. That was right in my wheelhouse. That was the Munsters question.
Nice.
So, yeah, I thank the professor for going easy on one. Yeah.
All right, we'll get into the game here in just a few moments. You can dial us up, 954-417-0070. Hialeah Park, always a great place to go. Got the toga meet, and you get the feel of being at Saratoga when you walk right into the grounds there at Hialeah Park, just driving up. I love taking that clubhouse entrance, Gurggles. It always, got me in that throwback mood, and you're thinking, wow, what a glamour era it was of thoroughbred racing at Hialeah Park, right up there with anything they do at Saratoga. And, so you walk in there, you kind of get the vibe, and then you're looking out there over the paddock area, and it's still just as beautiful as ever. And you've got all the screens lit up in the champion simulcasting room. You can walk outside on the patio, smoke a Perdomo cigar, make all the bets that you need. They have plenty of live tellers and self-betting machines. You're never getting shut out. Screens all over, as I said, well displayed, and every racetrack going, and you can have your own individual booth. You got the brass rail bar, crossover cafe. You can get food from anywhere in the place, and not at ballpark prices, as we like to say, because they really don't take advantage of you when you're at Hialeah Park, like a lot of other casinos do. Where Mayo was at a particular place last night that may be a future sponsor, so we don't necessarily want to, get any negativity out there, but he paid $16 for a bunch of noodles. I mean, just ridiculous. And he was regretting that he didn't get the $26 variety because at least that came with house mustard.
I think he was at Hard Rock last night. I think last night he was at Hard Rock.
Hard Rock? Okay.
Yeah, I think last night he was Hard Rock. I don't think he was.
Isn't there a potential deal in working with these people? No. All right.
The other place, but not at.
Like I said, he got a beautiful meal there. No. We tell the truth here.
Yeah, I would be honest, even if it was
you're
thinking, but I think it was because he talked about I'd rather go to Bowl. Bowl is at Hard Rock, I think.
Yeah.
Bowl is that Hard Rock place. It's not at.
No, he was at the Hard Rock. I was only kidding about that.
Yeah.
We would encourage him to advertise on the show, but I don't know that would change our opinion of getting hosed. I mean, you're not a big fan of getting clobbered in casinos for food, are you, Gurggles? Don't you find that a little bit insulting? Shouldn't it be just the opposite, where they're giving it to you?
I very seldom eat there, although I've eaten at what is it, the Grand Oaks or Oaks? The Oaks at
Council Oaks or
Council
Bluffs great. Or whatever that is.
Council Oaks, really good food there.
That is great.
It's not cheap. It's really worth it, though. That's definitely worth it. But
that,
I'm not a casino food guy.
Yeah, it's kind of like Shula's Steakhouse was back in the day.
That's
that kind of level. Although Shula's Steakhouse might have been a little more reasonable in terms of cost, but
it didn't cost you anything.
Since I never paid.
That's right.
No comment on that. I mean, so we're going to come right back with the game. Dial us up, 954-417-0070. We'll dedicate this game to the Polyman, who I would imagine is thriving right now. I did get a couple of messages from the Polyman. I want to say about a week ago. I get nervous when he doesn't respond like within a week's time. What do you think, Gurggles? Have you talked to him recently, the Polyman?
Maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. Yeah, Paulie, and as a matter of fact, we were reminiscing about Shula's, how when Paulie and I went there to have some dinner on the credit from the show, two of us split one asparagus. So yeah, that's all that was left.
I think didn't Polyman have the stuffed mushrooms? Wasn't it only like back in the day there? I remember and
Oh, they were good.
one of the lines that your
And
buddy.
well, what you left us on the credit, they couldn't stuff them. They just gave
No,
two
no.
mushrooms.
Give
That
you
was it.
mushrooms.
They were able to take the potato out of the skin, but they weren't able to reinsert it as a twice baked potato. Still, to this day, remember when Barry Jackson picked up the line that I had about, and he used to write, this tidbit thing about local radio and TV
Right.
in the Sunday paper, and it was sort of nice. We got a nice mention from Barry there about the show that the opening segment of the trivia challenge was like the best radio in town, which was very nice. High compliment. That was the last time you mentioned us, unfortunately.
Before I even joined you.
But he did pick up the line I had about Don Shula, which was, how could a coach, a man of this stature, a man of this distinction, possibly have the nerve to charge somebody $8 for a baked potato? And if you think about that, while that seemed like an outrage at the time, I mean, now you would be thinking, whoa, only $8? Hey, yeah, bring two. All right, coming back with the trivia challenge in a moment. Dial us up, 954-417-0070. Now that.
The time.
744. Ponies in Style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in Plantation, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Are you looking to buy your first home? Have you been turned down for a loan? Do you need to refinance or get money out of your home? Call Michael Kodsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. He's been helping the South Florida community get mortgages for 30 years.
Hi, this is Michael Kodsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. We have the most competitive fixed rates in the market. Call me 24/7, 561-441-2730. And remember, I don't just work banking hours. To make the right choice for your home, call Choice Mortgage today.
Oh, solo volante will be coming late. Oh, solo volante. The Belmont's now 1 mile and an 8. The finish line is coming up quick. Luca Panici, just switch the stick.
The only way to get your morning started is with Defo and Lubie, right here on the Defo Show.
Speaking of Luca Panici, he made an appearance yesterday in a stakes race at Saratoga in the 4th race. And he ran 4th, a very credible 4th in that race. Unfortunately, there were only 4 horses in the race. We love you, Luca. Big fan of the show. And great guy. But it was nice to see. And, that's nice to see in a sport or any endeavor for that matter, where there's a little bit of loyalty there. Look, obviously, they're in a 4-horse field. You're looking at any number of top, high-level jockeys that are available in the jocks room there. And the owner and the connections, the trainer, decided to let Luca keep them out. Although after yesterday, Zulu, Echo Zulu was the horse that, a monster, right? Did that horse pay 2 to 5, Gurggles? Because if it did, that was a bargain.
Yeah, and I was alive with all 4 of those horses in the early pick 3. And needless to say, Echo Zulu ended up being, $30, where the others were in the hundreds. And, but quite a horse. I really thought the 2 had a big shot to beat him, Frank's Rochette, but no luck as far as that goes. But
no, a dominating performance.
Good to see Luca up there, and the horse just wasn't good enough. He did nothing wrong in the ride. They bet him. I think he was the 3rd choice out of the 4, and
He might have gone off
Good he got
second
up there
choice.
Friday.
I think he went off second choice. I think,
Did he? I thought that it
yeah.
was between him and the two. Yeah.
Right. Anyway, just an easy romp there for Echo Zulu, and it looks to be a super horse. Now 2 for 2 as a 4-year-old, but that was it. I mean, great, a local guy making, and they didn't have a picture of him. Did you notice that? I don't know if you were watching on TVG. Oh no, it was on Fox Sports 1. And so, they had one of those unidentified things, like when you see like a Facebook scam is coming your way and the guy doesn't have a picture, just has like a silhouette of what could be a guy. That's what they had up for Luca. 4 jockeys in the race, and they couldn't find a picture of the guy. It was great.
I think Paulie has that on his loan application, doesn't he?
He might. A lot of sentiment people expressing they do miss the Polyman. And so we'll dedicate this game to the Polyman. We'll get it started. 954-417-0070. Landlubber's gift certificate and the distinction. I mean, it's one thing you're going to unify the welterweight title belts with Spence Crawford, right? All 4 belts of the Alphabet Soup organizations, as they're known, the 4 more prominent ones are on the line in this particular fight, and so is the distinction of being a champion here on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. So, dedicated to Polyman, let's start out the game. Dave Gurggles Gergely in the somewhat traditional fashion, with Dave as the Polyman and some
easy baseball. Once again, another slip of the tongue by the Mets announcer, who you all know by now, who said, listen closely, and today, Rookie Wilson has a great chance to be Mookie of the Year. Could be only one guy. Was that Ralph Kiner, John Biner, Mel's Diner, or Dinah Shore?
Nothing like a little Kiner's Corner to get you in the mood for a ball game. And the wood paneling in the back was just a sensational piece of decor. All right, here's the Renophone Scrambler, and it lands on Ron, I believe. Ron, you're on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Hello.
Good morning, guys. Let's go with A.
You are correct, sir, and a good
well
start
done,
to the
Ron.
game.
All right, Ron, golf, true or false? Congratulations, of course, to 5'7" Brian Harmon, who I never saw a guy drive the ball straighter on a golf than he did at the Open. True or false about him? Because of Brian Harmon's love of hunting, the British tabloids referred to him as the Butcher of Holy Lake. True or false?
I believe that's true.
True, yes.
That is true. That is true.
He's a wild man, apparently, in his off-the-course life. Hunting, fishing, scuba diving, all of this crazy stuff. So, that was good. I mean, the fact that he held on like that, very, very nice. Good to see. Because I was reading an article about how Rory McIlroy should start to wake up and realize that his career is a failure. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, I would hardly consider what he's done a failure. And, they were saying that he wasn't being realistic because, he was, so far out of it there. He finished six shots back. But so did 4 other guys that are
right.
number 1 and 2. So, it's no disgrace.
And my pick, if the guy had a flat stick, if he could putt, Tommy Fleetwood had Tommy
Fleetwood Mac, yeah. He was right there.
Yeah.
We were off the board. Lubie and I were really off the board. As what do we have? We had DeChambeau. He was like 28 over.
And
Dustin Johnson. We went live tour. I think we even had the Sheik to finish in the top 5. Ben Al Samor, or whatever the guy's name is. All right, what do we have? We have 2 going for 5.
Right. All right, baseball, Ron. Bryson Stott this past week became the 12th player in baseball history to have 4 walks and 3 stolen bases in a single game. And he was the first one to do that since 1991 when it was done by Darren Lewis, Craig Biggio, Lou Brock, or Maury Wills.
4 walks, 3 stolen bases in the same game. Okay.
Single game. First one since who?
What was that, Ron?
Darren Lewis?
Correct.
Wow.
Darren Lewis did it in 1991.
It wasn't my man Lou Brock. That would have been the logical one.
Nope.
Foul off a bunch of pitches, work his way on the base, and then, steal second and third. Same session. All right, 5 going for the sweep to start us out here, Ron. Pretty spectacular beginning.
You're not kidding. All right, Ron. Baseball. Stick with baseball. Who is the only active player in Major League Baseball to have played in Derek Jeter's last game?
Okay. All right. That's
What's
a good
that?
one.
Wow.
Justin Verlander, Miguel Cabrera, Nelson Cruz, or Mookie Betts?
Let's go B.
B.
Miguel
Incorrect.
Cabrera. Makes sense. No, it was against the Red Sox, and Mookie Betts was on the Red Sox that day.
Wow. All right, Ron.
Back in 2014.
Good job, Ron. 5 points, and that has you establishing a pace here and a fairly quick pace, right? We're talking 22 and change here, going 5.5 furlongs on the grass at Saratoga. So you can dial us up if you want to compete, 954-417-0070, 954-417-0070. Landlubber's gift certificate at stake here. Lubie at Landlubber's later on tonight, another live trivia session with the professor. And of the trivia contest, it seems to me the consensus of Chronics and people who play this game and contest in trivia competitions around town seem to feel that it's the most difficult and challenging. The professor's session with Mike Lubitz at Landlubbers in Plantation, Pine Island and Sunrise. So head on out there and give that a shot. 954-417-0070 on the phone lines. Gurggles? Perdomo Cigars, man, you can never go wrong. That's a winner every time. Chalk notwithstanding, it's always going to come up big.
As a matter of fact, there I am at the Maldives, and if you read the political news, I think the defense minister or one of the high officials from Ukraine supposedly was on sick leave, and where'd he go? He was at the Maldives. He could have been next to me smoking a Perdomo cigar, but you don't have to go there. You don't have to go halfway around the world, spend 26 hours flying and taking speedboats to get a Perdomo cigar. 5150 Northwest 167th Street on the Palmetto, just a little bit east of the Home Depot. On the south side of the street, you'll see the big Perdomo cigar sign. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. is the place to go. Nuvia is the new receptionist. She'll guide you into the big humidor that our late great friend, the Mad Dog Jim Mandich, built, and you can make your selection right there. Say hello to Dick Jr. and their lovely new daughter, Lucia. That's probably about 6 months old now. And go in there and get yourself a great cigar, whether it's a Connecticut wrapper, a Maduro wrapper, whether it's a punch, or whether it's a Churchill style, Robusto. It doesn't matter. They make them perfect one at a time. 305-627-6700, the number to call. Go online to perdomocigars.com to find out the great cigars they offer. And if you want to get one Saturday or Sunday, they're closed. It's a family operation. But perdomocigars.com will find the retailer near you that sells these great cigars. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to look over Saratoga's entry, so I don't have a Perdomo cigar entry today. But you don't need a winning horse at Saratoga to enjoy a great cigar from Perdomo Cigars. They make them perfect, one at a time.
Very good. Did you ever eat at Ziggy and Mad Dog's? Speaking of the Mad Dog, Jim Manich down there in the Keys?
No, I didn't. I
Never?
did not. I passed it by one time. Did not. But I did go to Jimmy Johnson's and had some great food there.
Oh, Big Chili, yeah. I mean, they get some very favorable reviews. There's always that question on Mayo's Let's Eat South Florida thing. And people will ask, oh, geez, I'm going to be in Key Largo or Alamorado. Where should I eat? What are the better dining spots? And Ziggy and Mad Dog's comes out very favorably whenever mentioned. I know we did a little bit of a transformation here before we passed away. The Mad Dog, Jim Mandich, who really was very versatile when it came to business, right? Had like a million things.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty incredible. I remember he'd be in the press box and he was passing out like 28 different press passes to get people in, clients, so that they could, get a tour of the press box there. And I was thinking, where did you get all of these credentials from? That's incredible. But, he had a way of working it, that's for sure. All right, let's continue with the game here. We have Ron setting the pace with 5 points. And here's Dave, our next set of questions.
All righty.
Hockey. This Montreal player on his teammate Maurice Richard's hairy back said, Jesus, if he had one more hair on his back, he wouldn't be on the ice. He'd be up a tree. What's that? Kenny Reardon, Mike Lum, or Lum's Hot Dogs?
Could never decide who actually had the hairiest back in NBA history. Was it Paul McKeskey or Neil Walk?
I thought Neil Walk.
Walk really had a hairy back, but McKeskey was, no slouch in that category, that's for sure. All right, the Scrambler lands on Lenny the Chronic. Lenny, how are you?
Yeah, Good morning, guys. I'm good. How's everybody?
We're doing well, my friend.
Lenny.
Congratulations on another big victory last week at Landlubbers.
Thanks. We couldn't have done it without Gurggles. Got it. You got to think what months right.
I'm so disappointed.
You can't go to like TV trivia and expect Gurggles in that category, especially that type of show, not to have the answer.
He loves it.
Yeah. All right. Very good. You have 1 point, Lenny, going for 2.
All right, sticking with golf, Lenny, true or false? After watching Brian Harmon's waggles when he addressed the ball, fans took to Twitter, believe it or not, comparing him to Judge Smalls, played by Ted Knight in Caddyshack, when they put their swings side by side. True or false?
I'm going to say false.
False? No, it's true.
That's true. They put it up on Twitter. Yeah.
True.
He did have a weird system of approaching the ball, huh? I mean, it was almost Ed Norton-esque, right? Hello, ball. It was wild. Mike Weir used to do a little bit of a thing like that, but nothing to the excess that we saw from Brian Harmon, which, he held it together, so you have to give him credit. All right, 1 going for 4, Lenny.
All right, Lenny, baseball. 3 New York Met pitchers have led the National League in ERA for a season. Tom Seaver, Dwight Gooden, and Nolan Ryan, Wayne Garrett, Craig Swan, or John Matlack.
Greg Swan.
Yes.
Wow, he knew that one. Wow.
Knew it.
Mr. Met himself, Lenny, the Chronic. Unbelievable. Nice job there. 4 points going for 9 here, Lenny, and you're currently in a nice spot there, drafting right in behind Ron.
Okay, Lenny, here we go. We got a women's FIFA. The FIFA, why not? It's going on right now. The last time the U.S. women's team lost in the finals, it was to what country?
Or to who?
I didn't want to do back-to-back homes, but okay, all right.
All right.
Was it Germany, Japan, Norway, or Italy?
I'll go Japan.
The Japanese, yes.
2011.
Wow.
2011, Japan. Yep.
Wow. You might want to change your social calendar there tonight, Gurggles, and line up with the Chronics because they're on fire here early on the show.
Cause them to lose. All
right. Still looking for new blood here. Lubie's always looking for new blood. 954-417-0070. Dial us up if you want to play. We'll play a couple more before we get to the finals here. Dave Gurggles Gergely, the master of ceremonies, the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge, brought to you by the good people at Hialeah Park, and, of course, by Perdomo Cigars. So we're coming back with the second half of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge and of this show in a moment. Now that. It's 8:01.
Folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs unmatched. Steaks hand cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
The winner to organize the 2022 FIFA World Cup is Qatar.
We now return to the Defo Show.
Have the trivia challenge working here on the Defo Show. Jeff DeForest, one Mike Lubie Lubitz, Dave Gurggles Gergely has all of the questions for you. You can dial us up if you'd like to play. 954-417-0070. 0070 954 417 0070. A hot game working. The usual suspects involved. Lenny out front, sprinting to the lead. Lenny, you can picture that, can you not? Dave Gurggles Gergely. Lenny, as they say, on your mark, get set, fire a gun in the air, and boom.
He
Like
moves
Usain Bolt, Lenny shooting out of the blocks there. Be a beautiful thing to see. And Ron also, a very astute player, a guy who's been a champion many, many times in this game. Ron has 5. So Lenny with 9, Ron with 5. That's your challenge on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. And we're ready to roll. More players, 954-417-0070. Dave Gurggles Gergely, once again, the master of ceremonies extraordinaire, with the next set of questions.
Golf. This Irish-born commentator on then young Rory McIlroy overcoming a wrist injury said, well, look, Rory's just 22 years old and single, so the wrist should be his strongest muscle. What's that?
There you go.
David
Always
Parody?
sexual double entendre.
Bill Rafferty, PJ Flaherty, or PJ O'Rourke?
Like I said, if the internet had been around when I was a teenager, Gurggles, I don't know about you, but I would have masturbated myself to death. I really would have. That's an ugly image, but you can't blame Rory's not short. As is the case with my tennis playing man, Matteo Berrettini
as well.
He's not having any problem getting
action now.
Any action. All right, Mike, you're up next on the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. Mike, welcome to the show. Hello.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. Hey.
Good morning, Mike.
Morning, Mike.
Hey, that's correct. Nice job, Mike. You're in the game.
True or false, Mike? We've had a lot of requests for this category, so let's do it. Pickleball.
Pickleball.
Believe it or not, yes, Hard Rock Casino has just announced another $1 million pickleball match. This time it's mixed doubles with John McEnroe and Maria Sharapova versus Andre Agassi and Steffi Graf. True or false?
I'll say true.
True.
That is true. Yeah.
It is true. Yeah.
I think they grease them all with $1 million. Huh?
They were gonna get us Michael Chang, because he was in the last one.
Oh yeah.
I'd really like to get Agassi on. They're sort of hinky about.
You turned down Michael Chang?
I didn't turn down anyone. He couldn't make the time to it because he's out west.
Oh, okay.
Sort of the thing with Agassi too. That's what sort of sucks about it. But yeah, they get really big names. Like, I don't know if I want to watch these people playing pickleball, but I like.
Think about how much of the people's money has gone up in smoke to support this event, which nobody cares about in reality. A nice core of celebrities, but who gives a fuck about them playing pickleball? Do you?
Give a shit about.
Steffi Graf is playing pickleball. What a disgrace!
What the fuck?
You're not even playing pickleball with the bad knee, Gurggles. By the way, did the shot work at all? Nothing.
I got one more Friday, and it's I'm walking a little bit better.
Oh,
This morning's still a little tough. I need the cane, but during the day, I'm coming along better. So we'll see. Eating some good food from Landlubbers and get a little out, get rid of some of the belly. That'll help. So.
Chester from Gunsmoke, basically, is what we're talking about here. All right, where are we at? We're at 2 going for 5.
2 going for 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Mike, baseball. Who was the first player elected to the Hall of Fame in baseball who at one time served as a designated hitter? Bless you, Mike. All right.
Thanks.
Okay.
Was that Harmon Killebrew, Reggie Jackson, Frank Robinson, or Al Kaline?
Kaline.
Yes. Oh.
Wow. Who are these guys?
You knocked out.
Guys are sharp here.
We
Unbelievable.
Ron.
We got a dead heat going for second place. And still remember, I'll never forget as a kid, I used to wait by the players' entrance and trying to get the visiting team autographs. And I was a big Al Kaline fan. And I remember as a little kid, like on a greasy top from a Cracker Jack box that I had separated from the box itself, he wrote Al, K, and then a line.
Nice.
And that was his signature.
Yeah. Nice. I would have just signed it battery, right? Alkaline.
Very gracious gentleman, though. That was a kinder, gentler time in sport. I don't know that an Al Kaline today, stops for every little kid with a greasy Cracker Jack box and says, "Sure, little Johnny, I'll sign that." You're probably not seeing that as much anymore.
I don't think he spent a day in the minors, if I'm correct too. I'm quite a player. Yeah.
Good ball player. Yeah, no doubt. All right, here we go. 4 going for 5 going for 10 for the sweep. Yeah.
Yeah. This is to tie Lenny for the sweep.
You're more
College
confused
hoops.
on the scoreboard than I am usually, Lubie. Today,
No,
you're
Lenny
all
had
over
9.
the
That's
place.
right. College hoops.
Lenny didn't get
College
us.
hoops, Mike.
I was going for a sweep.
All right, he had 9.
Yeah.
In 1985, when number 8 seed Villanova beat Georgetown to win the championship, where was that game played? Was it Indianapolis, Lexington, St. Louis, or Kansas City?
Wow. God.
St. Louis.
St. Louis.
St. Louis.
Oh.
No.
Oh, you'd have liked it. Lexington, right down the road from Keeneland.
Very nice. All right. Mike ends up with a dead heat with Ron. Lenny's got the lead with 9, so it looks like he's going to be in the finals. We'll try to determine who his opponent is going to be, and there's still another shot to get in here at 954-417-0070. 954-417-0070. It's all over. Nigeria 3, Australia 2. Is that a big upset? I mean, are the Nigerians really good at soccer? I wouldn't know. From the female variety, the distaff set? What do you think?
Oh, no.
Wow. I mean, a heavy assault on the goalies. I think the number of shots on goal in this game might eclipse the total number of shots on goal in all other games combined. As they had 7 for the Australians and 5 for the Nigerians. The Nigerians cash in on 3 of those and win this important Women's World Cup game by the final margin of 3-2. You could be betting on this, though, Gurggles. Jim Sarney pointed this out to me. The big prop bet. I don't know what kind of odds you have to lay on this since it comes up so frequently the one way, but both teams scoring. You can bet yes or no that both teams will score in a game.
Wow. Yeah.
And after 18 games of the Women's World Cup, it was 17-1 no. 17-1 because all of these mismatches that are in the first round.
Right,
right.
Yeah.
They expanded the format. What did they add? 32 teams or something,
Yes,
Louis?
I think they had 32.
They added 32 teams.
They opened it up to, I think, 32
Right.
teams or something like that. Yeah.
Ceylon, I think, has a team in there, and they're not even a country anymore. Remember, I used to collect stamps. You always had a bunch of them from Ceylon for some reason. Anybody? Stamp collectors? All right. Well, continue. Let's play another one here before we go to the finals, Gurggles.
All right.
You're going to
Done.
fire up our next set of questions. Here we go.
Here we go. Boxing. This fighter from a small town on his first trip to the big city of Chicago recalled, wow, my first day in the Windy City, I put down my suitcase, looked up at the Sears Tower, and said, Chicago, I'm going to conquer you. When I looked down, my suitcase was gone. James Quick Tillis, Mel Tillis, Dobie Gillis, or Dontrell Willis?
All right. Here's a random phone scrambler. And it lands on, and we have to honor this, right? Should we even be performing? Well, we don't have writers on this show.
Not actors or writers.
We're not really actors, but the
we're
striking Pat Fox of After Fame is with us here on the show. Pat, how are you?
Hello, guys. I'm okay.
Are you walking the picket lines? What are you doing? Are you out there with Brad Pitt and all of the people?
I will be, absolutely.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, they were down in Hialeah, in Little Havana yesterday. Yep.
Nice.
What resolution do you see? Do you see
Any
something coming
movement?
soon, or is that one of these things where the divide is too much to anticipate a quick end?
Improved rates, AI not to do what the producers are doing or trying to do with the actors. It's just a big mess.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
We wish you luck with that.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
All right, and a quick resolution because a lot of talented people are out there fighting for what they think is fair, while the people that are in charge are always saying, well, "We're not making any money. What are you talking about here?"
Well, it's just funny because residuals used to be the big thing, right? Remember, everyone used to, if you did even a guest spot, you loved residuals.
Yes.
Streaming, I didn't even think about that. Streaming said, "Fuck you, residuals." Streaming literally, people actually stream things more than before, so you should get more residuals because it's constantly up there and you can watch whenever you want, and things get played way more now than they used to, and they don't have any residuals, so it's like a freaking joke.
Always good to get paid for your work.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a principle that I have great respect for. It's good. All right. Good luck, Pat. You have 1 point. You're in the game.
All right, baseball, Pat. True or false? The Yankees' Anthony Rizzo is in a bad slump. So recently he changed his walk-up song to Taylor Swift's Ready for It, and then went 4 for 4 with a home run. True or false?
I'll say false.
Oh, that's true.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. He actually did that.
Just reading about that. You see where Travis Kelce tried to make a move on Taylor Swift, and she rebuffed it.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
It says, I don't do shit like that. Unbelievable. You wouldn't want to be an ex of Taylor Swift because then, I don't know, are these songs particularly flattering or, what would you say? A bit more on the disparaging side when she writes about the ex. Yeah.
My wife is a big Taylor Swift fan. I'm telling you, they're not. They don't raise up men.
I've spoken more highly of my ex-wives than Taylor does of the boyfriends. That's for sure. All right, here we go, Pat. You have one going for four.
Yes.
All right, let's go back to women's soccer. In 1991, when the U.S. women won the cup, who did they defeat in the finals? Was it Japan, Germany, China, or Norway?
Oh, God.
I'll say it was Germany.
Germany. No.
No.
Had to be Japan.
It was their match last. It was Norway.
Norway.
The one they tied last night. Yep.
Wow.
I want to got Norway.
Very nice. Gurggles. All right. This is a big one here, Pat. This is going to decide a lot about this game. You'll either be in second place and end up in the finals against Lenny, or it'll be sayonara until next week. And then we'll hope that strike gets resolved so you can come in here flush with cash.
All right, NFL football, Pat. With what team did the late, great Miami Dolphins running back Jim Kick end his career with?
Good question.
Was it the Vikings, the Jets, the Eagles, or the Broncos?
Wow. I don't even know the answer to that. It's amazing.
The Broncos.
That's what I would have said.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Good job.
Denver Broncos. Yeah, well done.
Damn, Pat, you found your way into the final.
That was a 3-run homer when a 3-2 count, bottom of the ninth inning, and the fans were already heading for the exits here, and Fox hits one out of the park. So that was good. All right, Gurggles, while we put the finals together, tell us about Perdomo Cigars.
Yeah, Perdomo Cigars, 305-627-6700, the number to call, or come out here and play golf. Miami Lakes Golf Course. Course is in great shape. And when the beverage card girl comes out, go grab a Perdomo cigar. We sell them out here as well. But you can go there in person Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Saturday and Sunday, they're closed, but no, that shouldn't stop you. Go online, perdomocigars.com. Find a tobacconist near you that sells these great cigars. I recommend if you're a mild cigar, maybe you like an Ashton or an Upton or a Davidoff, I recommend the Lot 23, probably half the price and just as good as smoke. If you like a Maduro wrapper, the 20th anniversary can't be beat as well. So they got a cigar for everyone's taste, made perfect one at a time. It's a family-run business, but they make great cigars. So today, tomorrow, whenever you feel like it, go get yourself a cigar from Perdomo Cigars.
All right, very good. We have a couple of veterans here for the finals, the championship round of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge. We will be with you until 9 o'clock today, and then a special edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox, although I got a free pass on this one. I wouldn't mind venturing down there. Jackson's Ice Cream Parlor, a fabled place in South Florida. Yeah.
In Dania.
In Dania. Yeah. A lot of people absolutely love the place, and I haven't been there, I want to say, since like Just Man was like 8 years old or something like that. Because he used to be, in the neighborhood, and when I pick him up, we go to Jackson's. It was always a good thing. Very much like Jan's on Long Island in New York. New Yorkers remember Jan's. They had the kitchen sink and all of that stuff. So they'll be out there at 12 o'clock today. Lubie will be out there, and special guests.
Oh, good.
It's like a ladies' day on there. The proprietor of Jackson's is a long time, a staple of the South Florida dining scene here. And Stacy Ritter also going to be on the show. Long time in the politics.
Wow. And I guess the question all your listeners want to know is, how did an 8-year-old then Just Man raise the money to pay for the tab for you and him?
That was one of the things I saw my friend Bruce. I don't know if you remember the Polyman's friend, Bruce from the track. He was always working at racetracks in some capacity, usually, I think, with the food and beverage people. And his wife was the person who manned that ice cream stand on the second floor at Calder, which, every now and then you'd have to pacify yourself after a miserable day of betting. And, you were in the midst of it, and you maybe had a few bucks left, and you go get one of those double ice cream cones. And when I had an office there, and Jesse used to have to come sometimes with me while I was putting together these TV shows we were doing. And that was the only way to pacify him. He wasn't interested in betting. He wasn't interested in watching the horses. He didn't want to go down to the Panic, but he did like those double ice cream cones. And I'll never forget Bruce's wife. She passed away at a young age. I think she had the big C, but she used to, just make sure they were absolutely like loaded to the ceiling with ice cream for the kid, so we could get through like an hour of work. All right, we're ready for the finals here. Gurggles is going to fire off the question, Lenny and Pat. Call out your name if you want to answer right away. Nobody answers right away. We'll offer multiple choice. The first person to call out his name gets first chance. We go back and forth till we have a winner for the championship. This week's edition of the Hialeah Park Trivia Challenge, the Landlubber's gift certificate, and the chance to meet Mike Lubie Lubitz in person, even tonight, as soon as tonight, at Landlubbers with the live trivia challenge. Here's Dave Gurggles Gergely.
All right, guys, good luck. Let's take you back 30 years to the year 1993 in college basketball.
Nice.
In 1993, this Pac-10 team ended Duke's streak of 4 straight Final Four appearances. Who was that team?
We should know that because we hate Duke.
Yeah.
All right, here are the choices.
Right there.
Was it USC, Oregon, California, or Arizona?
Pat.
Both of them.
Did Lenny get in there
Lenny got in
first?
first.
I think
Split by a nose there, Pat.
Lenny.
I go Cal, California.
Cal.
No.
Got it. Wow, Lenny, nice job.
I was thinking Arizona.
Wow.
One, that's annoying.
Some,
Congratulations, Lenny.
Sorry, Pat.
Lenny.
That was a photo finish, Pat. All right, good luck on the picket lines, there,
Yes.
Pat. He has to go back out there and walk around in Hialeah with a sign. We want more money. And
I should have asked Pat. I should have asked Pat who's the actor that appeared in the Munsters N Car 54.
the guy was the tall guy. What's his name?
No, not him.
The guy that looked like
Oh
Lurch.
yeah, well that's true too. But yeah, he did. But who's the
Ed
other
Gwynn?
one?
Ed
The
Gwynn.
other
Wasn't
one
that the guy? Ed Gwynn.
Ed. Yeah, but the other one, no, Fred Gwynn.
Fred Gwynn.
But the other one also was Grandpa Munster, played by Al Lewis, played Sergeant Leo Schnauzer on Car 54 as well.
Oh.
That's right. And Andy knew it. They both did. All right, gentlemen.
Excellent job,
next
Gurggles.
Thursday.
Have some fun, man. Go play some golf.
Yep.
Dave Gurggles Gergely, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we're going to come back in a moment. We'll take you up to 9 o'clock here on the show, and Mike Mayo Lunchbox from Jackson's Ice Cream Parlor. You're welcome to go out there and join the boys as they will be firing it up at 12 o'clock. What do you think? I mean, does Mayo eat the foot-long hot dog while he's there?
Yes, there's going to be a hot dog of some kind. There may be a sandwich. There's going to be lots of ice cream. So I meant to tell you about this ahead of time. I haven't done this in a while where I sandbag you. I think we're going to be talking with perennial all-star. I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer, but perennial all-star Omar Vizquel. Omar Vizquel, member of the Cleveland Indians.
Yeah.
This morning.
Oh, yeah? When's that?
That's supposed to be in 10 minutes.
And what does Omar Vizquel want to discuss?
He's not pitching anything. He's a big art fan, and he just loves baseball. So he's down to talk about the new rules in baseball. He's literally.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll talk some baseball then.
Talk
With
about
Omar
baseball.
Vizquel. Is this addition by subtraction? Dylan Floro going to the Twins?
Yes, but okay.
And
So
are the Twins the only team that can make a transaction with?
I think so. And the way Sarney pitched it to me was, yeah, they got a reliever who's a former All-Star. The problem is he's a head case, and he
was also not very good this year.
has sucked this year, and he's lost his mind. I'm like, oh, good.
Perfect. That should help you in a pennant drive.
I'm like, that's great.
Omar Vizquel. Wow. All right. I'm excited about that, Louis.
Yeah, sorry.
Good sandbag job.
It's
But,
not a full
and
sandbag.
how long does he have with us? I mean, is this going to be one of your
Whatever
7-minute
interview.
jobs?
10, 15, I mean, whatever you want.
Where did you find this?
This guy that's brought us some of the other people through Celsius. He brought us the UFC guy. What the fuck's his name? The Cuban guy that we love.
Masvidal?
Masvidal. The guy that brought us Masvidal a month or so ago. Reached out like a couple weeks ago about Vizquel, and I was like, okay. I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna say no. The guy was one of
Who didn't like Omar Vizquel, man? He was great. Yeah.
On top of that, and then I was like, so what is he promoting? He's like, well, he likes art. I'm like, okay, that's fine. He's like, but he really just wants to talk about the new rules. I'm like, oh, so we can get Omar Vizquel to legitimately just talk baseball. I'm like, okay, he's one of the top 5 or so defensive shortstops ever. Like,
yes, a very entertaining player to watch.
So yeah,
very good.
Minutes, go to work.
I mean, that makes it easy. Makes my life easy. That's for sure. I might have had to talk about my experiences at training camp.
Yeah, there's nothing there's nothing weirdo. Like it's Omar Vizquel, but now he has an album singing Spanish love songs. Or
Oh yeah.
no, I'm saying it's not that. It's
Oh,
not.
it's not that. Okay.
Not a full sandbag where I
So
tell
we
you,
don't have to talk to Roy Jones Jr. about his music career.
it's not telling you 30 minutes before we have this baseball player who wants to talk about their new line of soap. No, it's not that.
Yeah.
It's he wants to talk baseball. So
okay, all right, that's very exciting. I mean, it's a perfect time to do it. A lot of transactions took place yesterday. Yeah. Angels said they're all in. They're going to keep Ohtani because they know if they trade him, he'll never re-sign with them, and so they're abdicating the possibility of getting some kind of compensation for having this guy on their roster for these last few years. Yeah, and you're wondering, I mean, how much money can they get this guy? How does he not become the highest paid athlete on the scene after watching what Jaylen Brown got in the NBA? And that's only the beginning. It is amazing that every deal that's like so staggering you can't even begin to comprehend. I mean, think about that. You're getting $60 million next year if you're Jaylen Brown, and then $60 million the year after that, and a year after that, and a year after that.
To be the second best player on your team, like there's no one saying he's better than Jason Tatum.
No.
Like, to be maybe a top 20 player, and that's crazy to me. He's setting the standard as so it's just nuts. It's just nuts what they're doing.
What would Dave DeBusschere have been worth on today's market, huh? All right, Omar Vizquel coming up, former baseball great, to discuss baseball. Maybe he'll weigh in on a couple of our art opinions also. We'll ask him about that if that's what he's interested in. And I thought, that would have been a good way to start things out if he actually did have an album of Spanish love songs.
I've done that before where it's some big name person, but all they want to talk about is tires.
Yeah. Oh, no, that was atrocious there. When
you had notice on that
the cousin of one of the Unsers or something?
It was a granddaughter. I think it was a granddaughter of Al Sr. It was like Al Unser's daughter. She wasn't that far removed. That was the problem. Like, she was
that goes down in history as the worst interview I think we've ever conducted on the air.
She wouldn't talk anything but the Goodyear.
We had some comedians that were incoherent.
Eddie Griffin Eddie Griffin was the worst in my book.
That was bad.
He didn't even try. Charlie Murphy, God rest his soul, was on an all-night bender, so he was incoherent. But she's the worst because she literally was coherent and awake, alert, and would only talk.
We're like, what was it like growing up with these legendary guys? And she's like, well, you know what? The tread on these tires.
Like, what? How'd you get there?
It's like talking to a MAGA person. Well, Hillary's emails, I tell you what, even though it was like 50 years ago. All right. What about Lincoln? He must have had some dirt. All right. We're coming back with more. Omar Vizquel going to join us. We'll talk some baseball here. And that's good because we get to dodge another day of talking about Dolphins training camp and what's going on around the National Football League. The Hall of Fame game, one of my favorite games. Do you just always bet the under in the Hall of Fame game? Well, what is the history on that? Well, can you check with Mark Lawrence or somebody that would know?
Okay.
The history of over-unders in Hall of Fame games, I would imagine, was overwhelmingly on the side of the under. The point total is a very low, relatively tepid 33 and a hook on this game for the over-under. Browns and the Jets. Browns and the Jets, the debut of Aaron Rodgers. There'll be a lot of fanfare about that on the pregame show. And then Rodgers, I can't imagine he even goes out for the obligatory first snap handoff. Does he? Rodgers, Hall of Fame game?
No. Hall of Fame, you don't even see the field.
Doesn't sniff the field, right?
Not nowadays. I know Manning back in the day did literally one play, handoff, get out, just because it was the opening of football in general. But I don't think that's at all the case anymore. I don't think you even see any, like, just in case you could trip over your foot or some shit. Like, I don't think you see any action now.
No. I mean, there'd be nothing, I would think. And, it's weird. Zach Wilson yesterday drawing raves from his work in 7-on-7 drills in the who's hot and who's not. Zach Wilson outperforming Aaron Rodgers. Is there a chance Robert Saleh and the Jets need to rethink their position on this kid? Huh?
Jesus.
Imagine if he started over Rogers. That would be the greatest training camp story ever. All right, coming back with more. Omar Vizquel, who is that? Andy that's saying best fielding shortstop
Yeah,
ever.
I don't know if I go best because again, you had Cal Ripken, you had you had
Ozzie
the Wizard,
Smith.
obviously the Wizard of Oz. There's some guys from your era, I'm sure that were fantastic.
Mark Belanger, man, was a great fielding shortstop.
There were guys, look, Renteria and Alex Gonzalez from the Marlins was spectacular because he sucked at the plate. No one gave him credit, but like Alex Gonzalez every night would make a play that you were like, what the fuck?
He was good.
But Vizquel was fantastic fielding, and he also wasn't a slouch at the plate. Like you weren't like, oh, thank God, Omar Vizquel's hitting.
No, very much of a spark.
That was good.
All right, when's he coming on? 8:30, 8:40.
It's supposed to be around 8:30. So
okay, all right, good. All right, we'll come back. Omar Vizquel. Talk a little bit baseball here in a moment. Now that
the time,
it's 8:28. Ponies in Style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
these days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in the Plantation, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Are you looking to buy your first home? Have you been turned down for a loan? Do you need to refinance or get money out of your home? Call Michael Codsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. He's been helping the South Florida community get mortgages for 30 years.
Hi, this is Michael Codsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. We have the most competitive fixed rates in the market. Call me 24/7, 561-441-2730. And remember, I don't just work banking hours. To make the right choice for your home, call Choice Mortgage today.
Don't gamble in anger.
She hit the daily.
Very calm. Think it through. If you need a little help, don't gamble in anger.
I get a panicked phone call, and he says, "Do you have any extra cash?" I go, "Yeah, I brought money with me to Atlantic City." He goes, "Well, I can't get any more out of the card because the Mustang went wild and emptied the daily allotment of cash."
Double nickels, man. She went for a nickel on her card and a nickel on mine.
The best way to kick off your day is with Defo plus Lubie. We now return to the Defo Show.
All right, so we have our fingers crossed on this one, is what you're telling me now, Lubie. You may as well have booked the Bambino here, Babe Ruth. Who we could have given this beautiful build-up to, because you're telling me that Omar Vizquel is supposed to call us.
Yeah, which is
that's very suspect.
I hate when they do that, but that's what the guy.
Oh my God!
So now that I think about it, at least I told you.
Well, I mean, we did a little research here. I was kind of excited about it, actually, because obviously he played and was a linchpin of that '97 Cleveland team that took on the Marlins in the World Series. Omar Vizquel.
Well, okay, and looking here, and I'm curious, did he play 23 years? Is this thing? He played 23 years.
Yeah, 20. He almost had 3,000 hits.
12.
20.
And he won a Gold Glove as recent as 2006. So he was like in year 17 still winning Gold Gloves.
He's 66 years old right now.
That's insane.
He broke in 1989 and played until 2012.
That's nuts. Like that's
23 years. Yeah.
That's crazy. Like,
anyway, he's a phantom right now, is what you're saying, huh, Libby? And it's not looking good because that phone's not ringing. And usually these guys, I mean, they're either on time or it's, El Stifferoni, no?
Yep.
Something like that. All right. So forget about Omar Vizquel. We'll never mention his name on the show again. Training camp opened up yesterday, Libby. Were you aware of that? Now, there were some transactions in baseball. I'm not sure all of them were overwhelmingly significant, Libby. We did get rid of Dylan Floro. It seems like Kim Ng, who orchestrated that deal with the Minnesota Twins to get Luis Ariz, has a real inside with the Minnesota Twins. That's not the organization she came from, was it?
No.
I thought she came from the
The
Dodgers
Dodgers?
organization.
I thought she was associated with
Dodgers.
the
Yeah.
Yeah, the Dodgers.
All right. So, has a pipeline there to the Twins. It's kind of like the old days when the Yankees used to only deal with the Kansas City, at that time, the Kansas City A's. And, they were always just absolutely annihilating the A's in deals.
The minor league system. Yeah, I mean, that's what they were. Yeah, 100%.
It happens, right? It happens. So, anyway, she made a deal. And like you said, Sarni deemed this guy a head case. His numbers, statistically, the reliever that was retrieved in return, received, I guess would be a better way of putting it, for Dylan Floro, who, I don't know, was it just me, Lubie? Every time I saw this guy, it was an atrocity, Dylan Floro. It was painful. And you would be rooting for the Marlins, and they would bring in Dylan Floro in like the 6th or the 7th inning, maybe even the 8th, sometimes the 9th, sometimes extra innings. And I thought, oh, my God, there's just no chance that we're going to be able to sustain this and end up with a victory here. And he was always getting shelled when I was watching. All right. Well, good, Lubie. This is incredible here. Because once you made the announcement here that we were going to feature Omar Vizquel on the program, I got excited. I really did.
Listeners putting out their stats and ranking them. I was like, I hope we get them on.
I mean, look at these. The numerology here is incredible. Omar Vizquel, welcome to the show. How are you, my friend? Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, guys. How you doing today?
Good morning. Good morning.
We're doing well, but we haven't accomplished as much as you have. That's for sure. In 40 or 50 years of doing this, 11-time Gold Glove winner, 3-time MLB All-Star, 9 consecutive Gold Gloves from 93 to 2001, lifetime 272, almost 3,000 base hits in your career. And how did you sustain this for 23 years, Omar Vizquel? What kind of magic elixir were you on?
Well, I think that when you take things one day at a time, 1 year at a time, things become unnoticed. It was one of those things where you want to become a better athlete, a better ball player every day. And when you look back, I mean, you collected all these years and all these base hits, all these Gold Gloves, and you don't realize that you were doing it for a long period of time. I was just having fun. I was just getting better every year. And tried to get the best of my time when I was in the big league.
I guess, people always ask this of guys that had great careers and took place. I mean, your career didn't end all that long ago here, right? Playing all the way through 2012. But could you have ever imagined the staggering amounts of money that are floating around professional sports today? We're seeing guys sign for, a $300 million ball player is almost a common occurrence now. In fact, I don't know, if you're hitting $120, you might get $300 million.
I know, it's crazy, the evolution of the game and how the people has been responding. I think as far as the people is assisting and coming to the games, everything is going higher and higher, and it's reflecting on the contracts and the payments that the players are getting nowadays. I remember when I came to the big leagues. I don't think there was a player that was earning $1 million yet. I think Dave Parker, Cincinnati Reds, was the first guy that started getting $1 million in the big league. And then you start getting into the higher contracts. But, I think you have to do a lot with the job that Major League Baseball has been doing all over the place, overseas, and spreading the word of baseball and sending guys all over the place to get to know baseball and the players. And I think the job has been paying off, and the players are getting the best of it right now.
So you are, if not, you're arguably the greatest defensive shortstop of all time. And what's interesting is you played in an era where the shortstop was the star. I mean, you played amongst Alex Rodriguez, Derek Jeter, Miguel Tejada, Nomar Garciaparra. And no matter how many times those guys were brought up, your name was always number one. 9 straight Gold Gloves from 93 to 2001. When you look at the game today, the way it's boom or bust, it feels like it's almost taken the great defender out of the game. Like Defo all the time will talk about highlights. But I remember growing up, the defensive highlight was sometimes greater watching you, watching Ozzie Smith, watching Jim Edmonds, Ken Griffey Jr. What has the game done now with the boomer bust, where it feels like it's almost taken away the great defensive highlight?
Yeah, I don't think people is talking too much about defense anymore. You know, obviously being in the position of shortstop, you have to be the best athlete on the field. You and the center fielder, one of the quickest, one of the fastest. But you know, you are involved in almost every play out there. And right now, I think the home run and the power hitters, the fact that you have to hit the ball hard has been taking away a lot of the defensive skills. The fact that you played the shift for the last 5 years, and now they move it back into the position. Also has been taken a little bit away from defensive skills. But now the game is back. I think I like the fact that now the shortstop have to play on that side of the field, that way you get to show more your abilities as a shortstop. And obviously the home run has been over a blowout of proportion where now even the shortstop at the second baseman have to hit for power. So, you know, there is a lot of guys now that they were shorter and they have good defensive abilities that has been hiding and not being taken so seriously. Where now all the shortstops are tall, bigger, you know, they have a different profile of the shortstop that you used to have in the past.
Omar Vizquel, a special guest here on the Defo Show. I've told the story many times, Omar, about how I offered my son, who I guess was 97, he was 14. I had some tickets that I'd purchased from the original season of the Marlins. I ended up right behind home plate. I had the tickets for Game 7 of the 97 World Series. And I asked him if he wanted to have me sell them for him for about $1,500, I guess we would have gotten for the two, or go to the game. And he decided to go to the game. It's a memory I will never lose. I mean, I'm so happy it turned out that way. I would have blown the $1,500 at the track. But what is your recollection of that series? I mean, it was. I remember being so nervous for the Marlins that night in Game 7 because Al Leiter was not pitching particularly well, and we were afraid he was going to uncork a wild pitch like right away, and he throws a strike. And then you guys are in this nail biter of a game. What were your thoughts about and your memories of that World Series with the Cleveland Indians?
Well, first of all, I think that you guys make the right decision of going to that game. And
yeah, it was great for us.
Yeah, every Game 7 and every series, I think it's just a nerve wrack. You can't really sleep the night before. You play the game over and over again in your mind. You go through your game plan. You go through the things that you have to do and try to accomplish on that day. You know, your family is around you. They try to support you as much as you can, but you have really no other time, no other thing in your mind except that game. And when it's time to go play it, it's very emotional. A lot of things run through your mind. There are guys that cry. There are guys that shake. There are guys that do all kind of crazy stuff. But it's one of the greatest games in your life, in your career. I think I was really proud to the way that I felt, the way that I try to help out the ball team. Everybody was really focused on the things that we had to do. Just unfortunately, we couldn't come up with a win, but I think just being on that game make you accomplish one of the biggest things in your career is play the Game 7 of the World Series. And, you know, you take that in your heart forever. And I'm glad that I get to play that game.
That team, it's funny, people sort of forget because the last few years, both the Marlins and now the Guardians have become, you know, bottom rung franchises. But that collection of talent was up there with any team ever. I mean, Jose Mesa, who ended up struggling at that end, was an elite closer. You're Dennis Martinez, Oral Hershiser, Albert Bell, yourself, Kenny Lofton. That Jim Thome, that roster was amazing. How was it playing with that collection of talent? Because a lot of the time when you have a group like that, ego can get in the way. A young Manny Ramirez, it felt like you guys had this group of band of brothers kind of a thing. How was it playing with that collection of borderline, if not Hall of Fame talent?
It's amazing, man. I mean, every day we were having so much fun to being on the field, to be around those guys. You don't realize that someday you were going to play right next to Hall of Famers or some of these great players. I mean, to me, they were a family. We all treating each other like, like really, really good friends. We hang out, we go eat together and all that. And, you never know that at the end of your career, you're going to be mentioning all these names and being in Hall of Fame and all that. It was an amazing time. That's what you have to take one day at a time, 1 week at a time, and enjoy every moment and every opportunity that you get in there. But, to get to the World Series, you have to have that kind of team. You have to have players that are great. You have to play some great baseball. There is a combination of a lot of things. You take a look at a team, and sometimes it doesn't matter how much talent you got. It's just the way that you play the game. And I think that team was really special where we have a combination of both. You have a great manager on Mike Hargrove. You got people around that can guide you into a long season, and even if you struggle, you try to come out over the top and learn from that process. And we were really fortunate. I think, the guys that were on that team and that have the opportunity to play in a World Series, they are fortunate, because for sure you take that moment forever.
What happened to the contact hitter? And
yes, I was just going to ask.
It's funny because, I mean, you had to alter the rules in Major League Baseball to get guys to get out of the shift, which I think is atrocious in that I don't ever feel like you should be able to dictate, what defense a team could play or should play in any sport. The thing was everybody was always asserting that, well, geez, should these guys, professional hitters, be able to hit the ball the opposite way, at least, a tapper to keep the defense honest or something. What do you make of that? Because we always see this, Omar, and that is, when a team is struggling like the Yankees, where who's the first guy to go? The hitting coach. And yet it doesn't seem like that they're, interested in having guys make contact anymore. It's all home runs, as you alluded to, or strikeouts. What do you feel about the where the game is at right now, and what did you think about the rule changes?
Well, I think it's coming back slowly. I think guys realize that you need those kind of contact hitters, guys that get on base. You don't need to hit home runs all the time. I think the game was going into that direction, but general managers are realizing, hey, something is missing in the mix. And, when you don't have those guys that get on base, that bunt, that move guys over and all that, which is part of the game and has been part of the game for a long time, I think that you're losing something on the chemistry of the team. And, home run hitters are not going to hit home runs all the time. They're also going to be struggling. And when that happens, you need another condiment on the salad, right, to kind of score some runs. And that's what all those little guys, are very important. And I think I've seen teams this year that have been taking advantage of that opportunity. They kind of bunting more. They're trying to steal some more bases. And that is part of the game that we always play in the past.
What do you think of Ohtani? You ever seen anything like this? I mean, obviously the Bambino would be the comparison going all the way back, but he didn't really, pitch all that long in Major League Baseball. Once they discovered that he could hit the ball out of the park like he did, and be a great also as a contact hitter. Did you ever think you'd see something like this in Major League Baseball? And what was your thought? I mean, did you give a lot of credibility to Japanese players coming to the U.S. Because it seemed like it was a mixed bag of results with the early people that were in that category?
I think it's amazing. You don't see these kind of players coming into the league, for very often. I think we are in presence of a super, super athlete that can do it all. He had the height, he had the power, he had a great body to do it. It is strange that he's a Japanese player because, when you go to Japan and see some of these guys, they don't have a bigger profile of a player. You remember Ichiro?
Yeah.
Who was, he's a player that he was a tiny guy. He didn't hit for power much, even though that he can take the ball out of the ballpark. But Ohtani is a different monster. This guy is amazing. He can hit, he can pitch, he can do it all. And it's amazing that the kind of contract that he's going to get soon. I just reading the news, know that he's going to be off the market now. I think the owner of the Angels got tired of speaking of Ohtani's trade. It's a player that come up every day, every second, and where is the guy's gonna go and all this stuff. And I think he decided to keep it for a reason. One of the best players ever that is gonna be in your team. And let's see where the future of Otani is gonna be at the end of the season.
All right, you have very diverse interests, Omar Vizquel, one of which we understand is art. Have you been to Art Basel here in Miami? And do you think our idea would work where we want to shove a palm tree in a toilet bowl and try and charge like A-Rod or DiCaprio about $500,000 for it, calling it modern art? Where's your interest at in that, all of that?
I love it. I mean, it depends how you relate to a piece of art. You got all kinds of stuff. You got architectural job. You have sculptures, paintings. You have all these media now that the artists are using. And yes, Art Basel is one of my favorite shows to go.
Oh yeah, wow, okay.
Yes, it has been very commercial lately. But the artists and the materials that are using nowadays has been really amazing. So all these weird experiments that you begin in your garage, I think are paying off for a lot of artists. And it is a pleasure for me to be part of that because I'm one of those crazy guys that sometimes in the garage you come up with something and just try to use your imagination a little bit.
So, were you inclined to put in a bid on that guy that taped a banana to a blank canvas? A piece of work like that, or that is that too avant for your taste?
Well, I don't have pieces like that, but sometimes you hang on a piece in your living room where you think that is really cool, and you get a weird reaction from people that come and walk through the halls of the house and say, "What the hell is that?" not everybody see art the same way that you do.
Excellent stuff. Hey, it was a pleasure, Omar. We're so glad you joined us here on the show. Usually with this type of thing, as Lubie was pointing out before we connected with you, the guy's pushing like a new album of Spanish love songs or something. We get Oscar De La Hoya on to talk about that only. But it's great talking baseball with you. I hope we can do it again. And thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Thank you guys for the invitation. It was a pleasure. I'm staying here in the Miami area on these days, trying to enjoy every little sun that I have. I know that has been raining a lot, but it is a beautiful city. A lot of Latinos make their home here in Miami, but weirdly, I lived in Seattle for 30 years.
Oh, jeez.
And then I moved to Arizona for a little bit, and now I'm back in Houston, Texas. So this part of the country is beautiful to me, and have a lot of friends around and trying to get the best out of it.
All right, sounds great. Great having you here in town, and thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Omar.
Thanks a lot. Omar Vizquel.
That was fun.
It's great, right? Good job there, Lubie. I mean, you pulled this one out of your ass, literally.
My ass, literally.
More than once. Because it looked like a stiff job. It really, I mean, I was saying, not that this hasn't happened before. And I know that you probably had confirmed this several times with your sources there.
Yes.
And those guys are pretty reliable. But a lot of times, I mean, as you said, there's an NFL Radio Row Super Bowl agenda attached. Yes. And you're asking a guy about something, and he wants to talk about like the blowtorch that he has that can, make you not need a barbecue anymore, or have no need for certain cooking apparatus. And you're like, okay, I don't mind talking about that. And that's always been debated. Sports talk people, usually the guys that weren't going to the Radio Row sessions were the ones that trounced it. And trashed it and said, what a waste of time that is, huh? All the guy does, you're talking to Michael Irvin and he spritzes his armpits with right guard. And that's what he wants to talk about. Never mind the right guard on the Dallas Cowboys.
Look, we haven't gone the last, 3 years now? And I still wouldn't shit on anyone going. Like, I don't know what it is now. I don't know how extensive it is now. But look, the one in Vegas next year, it's going to be hard for us not to go. We're going to do everything we can to probably be out there. So I would never shit at it. Look, yes, there's a lot of that going on. But if you're smart about it, and then maybe it's because we became veterans, like we got it down.
It took you like not really much more than a year to adjust.
Well, I'm not even talking about getting the interviews and getting you the information. I'm talking about actually making the interview valuable. Like, even the people that could have been the schminkiest in the sense that they just wanted to talk about a product.
Right.
If you got the product out right away, just so that
That's the way. Just take care of it.
Alone, then you could really have a lot of, like, we had the people that were in the goddamn Top Gun, and they were fun. Like, you got them telling stories about Tom Cruise. They were classic, and there's no reason for them to. Jeff Goldblum, we didn't talk about his movie or sports. I don't know what the fuck we talked about.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I do remember having that conversation, and I couldn't pinpoint one thing that we talked about.
We had literally Liam Hemsworth, who had just gotten engaged to Miley Cyrus, and Jeff Goldblum in the middle of a sports thing. And he talked about some fucking game they played on set of Independence Day and then played the game with us.
No, it's an opportunity to get access to stuff that you could never do. And then, you're face to face. So it makes it a lot more fun because you can tell right away if it's going well. At a time we had Lawrence Taylor. I mean, that was fantastic. I've heard and done like many Lawrence Taylor interviews, and he was as much fun to listen to at that time as anybody we've ever had. Thanks to the great Robin West for that, who, by the way, is also good friends with our boxing analyst we're going to have on tomorrow, Peter Kahn. Yes. Knows this gentleman. Brett Tessler turned me on to this guy, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Spence. See, now, how do I approach this? I'm thinking, I don't want to put the guy on a spot here, but I don't know. Am I inclined after the Mayweather travesties? Can we blame this on this, or am I like, some MAGA Republican screaming about Hillary's emails here? Because, we should be over the fact that Mayweather screwed everybody, especially with that Manny Pacquiao fight, where even though Manny had one arm in the fight, Mayweather really didn't engage him the entire time. And it was 12 more rounds of the most boring shit you've ever seen. And you think, I just spent $100 on that. And none of the people that came over that said, oh, yeah, I'll chip in. They never cough, do they, Lubie? It's kind of like the old days where the doctor used to grab you by the balls. You didn't have these examinations, and he would say, cough. And you go, as a little kid.
Oh, no.
Now we realize there might have been a separate agenda there with these doctors that volunteered for, kindergarten and, first and second graders.
Oh, Jesus.
Hey, we were so naive back then, right? Guy would literally grab you by the balls. You people that are a little older will remember this. They had like a physical in schools. And, put a stethoscope up to your chest there for a second. And you're thinking, what is this guy really listening to? You ever notice that, Louie? I mean, can you really get anything from that when you put the stethoscope on a guy? Happened to me the other day when I was having that physical about a month ago now, where you go in and they like, breathe deep, do this, do that. What are they checking for there? Irregular heartbeat or something?
Heart and lungs. They want to make sure you're breathing clearly, and they want to make sure your heart's beating.
Oh, okay. All right. Because they never say anything. I mean, you don't even get the face after that.
The stethoscope's a real thing. That's not some creepy weirdo thing. I never know what.
They don't have anything more advanced than the stethoscope. Hell, the doctor I used to have when I was a kid made house calls at a stethoscope.
Yes, they have all the other stuff, but the problem is it's expensive as hell, and it takes a lot of time. So that before they send you through EKGs and MRIs and all
isn't that a little like the sundial in terms of medical equipment?
For sure, I'm sure
it is to medical equipment what the sundial is to the timekeeping.
100%.
Unbelievable. There was a guy, Charlie Ciccarelli, that was the timekeeper at a lot of boxing matches that I did in Florida, and I don't know if he's still around. I'm going to say no to that maybe because it was years ago, and the guy was kind of an older guy, and he used a sundial to time the rounds. It was great. It was like, Charlie, ring the fucking bell already. He's reading War and Peace. So you get like, oh, yeah, look at that. He's got the paper out. Oh, yeah. Bing. That's the end of round two here. I tell you what, that one looked like it went a little long there, Joe. What do you think? Training camp? You want some training camp stories? Let me.
I want nothing from training camp.
No?
It's the stupidest. I'm glad they do it, but I don't care about talking about it or hearing. It's the only good thing about my Twitter being hijacked the day camp opened. I didn't have to see, and I love Perk, but Perk, Omar Kelly, the 12 of them, Feronis, Hyde, tweeting about Tua's drop ball or.
You have to, manufacture a story there. I'm reading again. I guess I'm getting my details about the Jets training camp, and it's not like I'm overwhelmingly interested in it.
Or a guy, Antoine Staley, covers the Jets now. So Antoine to break down the Jets camp if you want.
But no, with the training camp daily observations, I mean, it's the kind of stuff you're getting. Zach Wilson enjoyed one of his best days at camp.
Wonderful.
Excuse me here. I'm choking even thinking about it. Maybe we ought to get out of here, Louis, instead of this.
I just never know what to do with any of it. I don't know what to do with the preseason, let alone freaking camp. Like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to make it? I mean, how does any of this apply to what might happen in the regular season?
I don't think it does.
The backup quarterback was sharp in 7-on-7 drills. Is this written with the kind of enthusiasm that I'm expressing here?
Probably. Oh, for sure. I'm sure it's more enthusiastic.
Made quick decisions and connected with Alex Erickson on a perfectly placed 65-yard bomb that went for a touchdown.
Wonderful.
Over what?
Like, what does that mean? I don't know.
3 mailmen that are trying out for the squad there that they're using just to combat the fact that they don't want any of their regulars playing in this heat? What, are you kidding me?
Like, come on.
Here's a beauty, though. This I like. I mean, you talk about paralysis by analysis, Libby. This is a training camp observation here on the second day. Now, would you say that you would probably have little concern that Aaron Rodgers will play at least like the Aaron Rodgers that he was last year with Green Bay?
I don't know what he'll be, but I presume he'll be better than whatever you're seeing from him now and what Zach Wilson's doing.
Zach Wilson, who just drew this, glowing praise for his training camp efforts. All right, so here's what it says about Rodgers. This is a good one. It was a nondescript practice for Rodgers, who was held out of the end zone, but didn't turn the ball over either. Woo. And score a single touchdown.
Wait, how much is he supposed to do any of those?
Okay. He completed 7 of 13 passes and was sacked once.
Wow.
His best completion was a third down conversion to tight end Tyler Conklin. In the 2-minute drill. Now, here's the one I like. He was intercepted by safety Tony Adams, but it was a free play after the defense went offside.
Oh, they actually track offsides in camp?
Well, not only did they track offside, but they're saying something sort of detrimental about Rodgers' performance in training camp yesterday because he got picked off on a free play, which nobody cares about, obviously, anyway.
Yeah, he's just
right? What do? You're just heaving one up there and hoping your guy catches it. Doesn't matter if you get picked off.
Like, Rodgers has one of the greatest hard counts ever, so he uses the free play as much as anyone. Like, he is the king.
And he's very successful at it, yes.
Yeah. Like, him throwing an interception there is him literally just testing practice. Like,
imagine you're like Fireman Ed and you're running around going, holy fuck, can you believe he got that picked off? Meaningless.
How
about Mitch McConnell, man? That was weird watching him just staring into space. You're like, did the guy just check out? They let him stand there for a while before anybody even tried to intervene. That one guy is like a representative and he's a doctor also.
Let him do it for minutes. And it's like, you had to see that he was blank. Like, they think he had a stroke, which it makes sense. It was very, like, it was stroke kind of symptoms where he literally just couldn't move. Like, he was like, I don't know. It's sad. Like, that's the thing is, I'm not mocking him or any of that. Like, it's sad. It was fucking weird that why would they why wouldn't they play it off a lot quicker? And then they brought him back out to say he was like, why would you do that? Like, sometimes you can just let a guy be. We all get it. He's old. They're all old. It's what it is. Like,
what a world this is becoming, huh?
It's fucking weird.
That swastika thing with DeSantis. So that's a story that was kind of just brushed over. I don't know. I saw it on a little crawl there. He's stamping things with a swastika as if he was Marge Schott. Unbelievable. Ron DeSantis. All right. We'll end on that note. You're going to have a good time, right? Are you going to have the, what is that called? The kitchen sink?
I mean, they're going to bring one out for, I'm sure, Mayo.
Mayo will have that by himself, I'm sure.
Linda to try. I'm never left out. Especially when we went the one time we were at Jackson's, they were fantastic.
Oh, you've been there before? Okay.
Yeah, we did it last year with Nikki.
Oh, right. Okay. All right.
Nikki Remotes was at Jackson's with Linda when we were still doing the Fakakta 2-computer setup. This is the first time doing it.
Is Mayo worried I'm going to eat half of the kitchen sink? Is that why he, always has like excessive numbers of guests lined up?
No. Stacy, who's a big fan of ours,
good.
Of Let's Eat, runs Visit Lauderdale, is a big fan of Jackson's. So that's why.
Oh, great. No. I mean, very appropriate to have her on.
Really happy she's going to join us. And Linda's great and Linda's fun. So you're more than welcome. I'm going to set up 4 mics, like just because.
No, it's cool. I mean, the 4-man thing is a tough one there. I don't mind. I actually have a lot of stuff I can do here.
So
and that is like an oddball schlep for me. It's a little bit of a hard place to hit. It's the Dania shows.
It's
very. I mean, the even keel yesterday. That's a cakewalk for me. Although I feel like I got screwed. I hate this when this happens. Right? because it's like $3.50 an hour to park there now at the
Oh,
beach. I
yeah.
guess they raised that, right?
Yeah,
Did you notice that? Did you get hit?
It's been $3.50 the last few times. It used to be $3.
Okay.
They jumped it up to because it used to be $6, and now it's $7.
Used to be $6, and then you got screwed if you put $1 bills in if you were paying with cash. I don't like to use my credit card on
I
those
used the card.
kind of things. I did use the card, but you had to buy a second hour in its entirety at the thing. So if you wanted to add time to the 1 hour, which wasn't enough,
Yeah.
you had to pay the full $3.50 for the second hour.
Yeah. I do. Yeah.
Again, no wonder they can afford these improvements there to Lauderdale by the Sea and that little strip.
They're making so much money. Are you kidding me?
My God, they're robbing people blind. I guess because I'm a resident here, I can buy, and I never thought this was worth it, a parking pass. I think it might be, maybe it is advisable. I think it's like $50 for the year, and you can park anywhere, anytime.
Jesus, really? Oh, that's amazing.
That might be, yeah.
Just
But I don't drive down there that often. That's the thing.
Just on the monthly even keels, I spend $7 every time.
Yeah. So if that's going to be $35,
$84, you're already saving $30-something, and
Right.
then maybe it'll make you go down there more because now you don't have to worry about fucking paying for parking.
I'm going to have to look into that. Louie.
That's actually a great deal. I would do it actually. Now
It might be 50. I think if it's only 50, it's worth it.
that's great. If it's
You're right.
$50, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's fucking great.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to have to take that into consideration. That might be the one bargain. So while I'm fetching about Lauderdale by the Sea and what a ripoff this place is,
That's a great deal. That's true.
they're offering you the most fantastic bargain that you could ever find outside of being a member at the Pompano Municipal Tennis Center,
Oh, that's
where the year-long membership for two is very, very, very light on the pocketbook for sure. Definitely a bargain. All right, that's it. That's our bargain basement talk for today. Mayo from Jackson's on South Florida Live and the Let's Eat South Florida page on Facebook. Always a lot of fun. Lubie will be slobbering some stuff down. What are you inclined to indulge in? I mean, are you going to save your appetite for the ice cream at the end?
Well, a little bit of everything. Last
Kind
time
of like when we go to that Gilbert's and then they start whipping out desserts and you're like, well, what? I mean, please,
Gilbert's,
who could eat more? Nobody.
Gilbert's, I just tap out. They just bring too much. Jackson, they don't have as much food, but what they do bring out, like the hot dog's a huge hot dog. The ice cream, they always go over the top.
Yeah.
They do a really good job. And the place is just cool because it makes you think of
I always liked it there. Yeah, I have fond memories of going there because it was like Jan's on Long Island, where that was the big thing. If you won like some little league championship, everybody's going to Jan's, and you would hope that the fat kid ordered the chickens in a kitchen sink, so that you could prod him into finishing it in one sitting, which was almost impossible. This thing was fucking big, man.
It's made
Their
for
banana splits were huge too, right? With like 3 scoops on each side. It was amazing, man. The banana. All right, good luck over there. I'll be with you in spirit, and then I'll see you Friday at Gulfstream Park, and we'll be on with a Degenerate Friday show tomorrow, right here on South Florida Live, the Defo Show, and feature many of our favorites, including the Greek, the Professor, Mike Mayo, the Gambling Gourmet, and it's about time. I mean, we're rolling around to the time of the year where we start featuring Mark Lawrence, and hopefully catch a little Brandon Lang too.
Yes.
On the Degenerate Friday edition of the program. And until then, thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you next time as we leave you know that.
The time.
Kitchen sink, Lubie. You have to try one. I think that'd be good. I can't believe, too, that guy, that poor guy, Vincenzo was his name, that checked out. That was a Runway 84 maitre d' for like 30 years. And that was the guy that Mayo stiffed. That was amazing. He made amends. See you next time as we leave you know that.
The time.
Stiffed him, though. It's 9:06.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my soul.